A great crowd expected tonight at Kauffman Stadium for Game 2 of the I-70 series. That is the St. Louis Cardinals and our Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Biziak, Rex Hudler with you. And Danny Duffy will make his 25th start tonight. He had a slow start to the season because of the offseason elbow surgery. But once he got going in late May, boy, he has been rock solid.
He has. You know, pitchers, hitters, they all have goals when they start the season. Now, most of them want to win a championship, and that's what they should be thinking. But for a starting pitcher, he wants to make every single start. So far, Danny Duffy is doing that. Now, he's had his ups and downs like most every big leaguer does during the course of a 6-month season. But Duffy's figured out exactly who he is. He's a guy who possesses 3-4 really good pitches, and he's dominant when he wants to be.
He is our Toyota League leader. When we come back, we'll talk the 85 World Championship at Kauffman Stadium. We'll be celebrating tonight. World Championship, and you may have heard Joel Goldberg's great interview with the round table. Willie Wilson on the left, Charlie Leibrandt, George Brett, and Danny Jackson. They were so integral as part of that 85 World Championship. Steve and Rex again. And what is that like? Because I was listening to Joel's interview, and it was like it happened just yesterday, sharing those memories.
Championship teams like that, Fizz, you're friends for life. Lifelong buddies, and especially the way they jumped on each other's backs and they really picked each other up. You kidding me? Charlie Leibrandt, wow, we're going to have him on later tonight, and both he and Danny Jackson, Fizz, I was fortunate enough to get to face those guys. They weren't real nice to me when I was on the other side of the plate, though, but I can tell you that they had excellent stuff, but really great memories that we're going to share tonight with these young men.
The very first World Championship in Royals history. When we come back, Monty will break down Danny Duffy, his keys to success tonight.
Day, and then they come back and they're shut out last night by the Cardinals, in large part because of 3 home runs hit by Paul DeYoung, Matt Carpenter, and Harrison Bader, as we see in our Kubota power stats. And so St. Louis getting that offense going, and now it'll be up to Danny Duffy to silence them. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. For the most part, over the last 14 starts, Duffy's been really good. Had a tough one in Minnesota. How does he get back on track?
Well, I listened to Danny's comments after our last game in Minnesota, and he was not happy. He said, I want to go out there and I want to dominate. A lot of times we hear the manager, we hear people say, hey, he kept his team in a ball game. He gave his team a chance to win, which he did. His team had a chance to win late. They didn't. Danny said his curveball was not what he wanted it to be. He's got to throw his fastball effectively to set up that curveball. I'm thinking Danny Duffy, he wants to go out and dominate every time, and tonight is a good time to start against a powerful Cardinals lineup.
And he does have good career numbers against St. Louis. However, he has not faced them since 2016. Fans from both sides here tonight. More coming up from Kauffman Stadium.
Brought to you by Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Find yours at your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. It's the I-70 Series. Molina versus Duffy. The blue versus the red. The Royals versus the Cardinals. The first pitch is coming your way next.
Howdy.
89 degrees. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery here at Kauffman Stadium. The Cardinals won last night by a final score of 7-0. And here's a look at St. Louis's batting order. Carpenter will lead things off, one of the leading candidates for National League MVP. Then Molina, Martinez, and Ozuna. DeYoung will hit 5th. Pretty much the same lineup with the exception of Bader, who hit 9th last night, hitting 7th tonight, and they will face the Royals lefty Danny Duffy.
That's because Bader's got a little bit higher average against left-handers. Danny Duffy, 25th start. That's amongst the league leaders. Opponent average 262, 126 strikeouts. He is a strikeout pitcher when he wants to be, and also he likes to pitch to contact. And when he got excellent pitches, his keys tonight given to me by Salvador Perez for success against the Cardinals. Breaking balls down, slider, curveball down, four-seamer up. You got to go up and down instead of in and out against these Redbirds. Hopefully he can do it tonight and give the Royals a chance to win the series. Defensively, for the Royals, forward around the horn, Alex Gordon back in the outfield after a day off, playing Gold Glove left field this year. He's already got 5 with 1 platinum. Salvador Perez, 4-time Gold Glover behind the plate, throwing out 51% of runners this season. That leads all major league catchers. He's a bad dude.
Our umpires tonight: Ryan Blakeney behind home plate, Adam Hammery is at first base, Phil Cuzzy at second, and the crew chief Tom Hallion is at third base.
One of the best crews in the business right here. They all give it their best. Look at Duffy. He can't wait. But you know what's been impressive too to watch this young man, Danny Duffy, is his composure, Fizz. He's a big league professional composed pitcher now. He controls that emotion. We know he's got a lot in there, a lot inside.
Searching for win number 8. Carpenter takes the first pitch off the plate. Ball 1. Carpenter with a good eye. 73 walks this year. That's 4th most in the National League. And you see his numbers. Well, most of that has been in the last couple of months. Strike in there.
He's never gotten a base hit against Danny Duffy, though, in his career. He's 0 for 7. Duffy'd like to keep it that way. And Carpenter has a 255 average against lefties this year. That's a good average. Anything over 250 for a lefty on lefty.
And he has torched the Royals in his past. 345 average against Kansas City pitching. 7 home runs, including 1 last night to right center field. Teased him away with the breaking ball. Three and 1. This is a patient hitting team. They average 3.5 walks per game. And they started the night at 61 and 55, 6.5 games behind the Chicago Cubs. Lost today to the Washington Nationals. That ball popped up left side. Alex Gordon trots in a few steps and makes the catch. 1 out.
Hey, that's nicely done. Just, you know, don't want to put him on, make him earn his way. But it's important for Danny Duffy and his success to stay away from the big innings. I agree with Jeff Montgomery in the Price Chopper pregame live show. He's talking about the up and down season that Duffy's had, and the downs have been because he's had big innings. We've seen him give up a lot of home runs in one inning and throw a lot of pitches.
And that was the problem for Birch Smith last night. That 5-run second inning, and pretty much the game was over. Now Yadier Molina. Yadier, a 288 average. Breaking ball low. 1 ball and 1 strike. We were wondering what that smoke was, and apparently the hot dog and hamburgers up there, I guess they're ready. Either that or you like them well done.
Take the dogs off the grill.
They had smoke drifting down onto right field. To third. Easy play for Escobar. 2 out.
Check out Danny Duff. He's got a nice new tight hairdo, but to go with that hairdo, he's got a nice four-seamer. That's right, it's a good one. Plus 95 at times. But the curveball, that's been his pitch all year long, and he's gradually thrown it more and more as the season's gone on. Matter of fact, his last 2 starts, he's used it 24.2% of the time.
It's amazing the things that you'll notice. Perhaps that new haircut will give him a little more velo.
He sure looks good, Fizz. You know what? If you look good, you play good.
All right. And he has pitched well the last 14 games, winning 6, losing 4, a 3.4 ERA. And a lot of that has to do with what he went through in the offseason. We've talked in the past about the bone chips being removed from that left elbow. Had to take time off. Didn't have the same workout schedule because he was shut down during much of the offseason. So April and May were a challenge for him to find that release point again, that good finish.
And a lot of people don't even really realize that. But whenever there's a foreign object to put in your elbow and they turn the vacuum on and suck out the bone chips, you know, that's not normal. And so it takes the body, especially when you're performing and making your living with your body, it takes a little bit of time to adjust. And folks know that don't even play baseball. It's an adjustment period. He went through it, but he's got to feel really good about himself that this is his league-leading 25th start, tied with a few other guys.
His last start was Sunday at Minnesota. Lost that game 6-5. Went 6 innings, but threw a lot of breaking balls that weren't as sharp as we've seen in the past, and gave up 6 runs after allowing a total of 6 runs the previous 8 road starts. 3-2. Martinez had 3 hits and 4 times up last night. He likes that ball up.
He's the guy that Salvi wants to work down with his breaking balls to see. Yeah, see where his glove is? Got away with it.
He went up the ladder with the fastball, 92 miles an hour. Martinez swings and misses, and a clean 1-2-3 inning for Duffy. We'll see Merrifield, Gordon, and Perez when we come back. Bottom of the first inning, Whit Merrifield will lead things off for the Royals. He'll be followed by Alex Gordon, the veteran left fielder, and then Salvador Perez. Lucas Duda will clean things up, followed by Herrera, Phillips, O'Hearn, Escobar, Mondesi. Jack Flaherty making his 19th start this year, and look at the strikeouts, 118 and 96 in the 3rd inning.
Makes me kind of happy. I'm sitting in the booth, Fizz. This young man here, he's got some stuff. 208 opponent average, 118 strikeouts to 96 points a 3rd innings pitched. Here we go. Keys to get him. Get him before he gets you. 126 opponent average with 2 strikes on you. He's a strikeout pitcher. Watch out. Don't miss. Yeah, you're not supposed to hit that one. The ones down the middle, don't foul them off. Fizz, you got to put them in play if you're going to beat this young man.
And they really need Witt at the top of the order to find success. He has just 1 hit in his last 17 times up.
You rarely see him in a funk like that because he can run, a little chopper or anything. He can beat it out. He's got that kind of speed. But you're right. They need him to get out there.
Yeah, he's been hitting the ball in the air a little too much. A little tight and a 3-0 count. Flaherty has walked only 33 this year against 118 strikeouts.
Take a strike. Get him in trouble.
In there. He's a Cardinals former first-round pick, 2014 out of high school. Harvard Westlake High School in Los Angeles. His senior year, they were ranked #1 in the nation.
Yep, 34th overall. That's pretty good talent right there.
Yeah, his senior year, 13 wins, no losses, 0.69 ERA, California's high school player of the year. And there's ball 4. Time for our Kia drive to success. Alex Gordon stepping to the plate. He's had a lot of success against this St. Louis ball club. .331 average, 11 home runs.
Yeah, hope it continues because they need Alex all of a sudden this year. He's starting to find that switch. That switch is using the whole field, driving the ball, keeping his hands loose, staying inside that ball.
He was 5 for 11 in St. Louis earlier this year with a home run. Airfield does not go, and it's strike 1. Fouled back 0-2, and Witt both times didn't look like he was going to break. He is tied for 3rd in the American League in stolen bases with 25. The leader is Jose Ramirez of Cleveland with 27, and then D. Gordon, who's been on the disabled list, with 26.
Whitley, there's no need to go right now just to go. Okay, he picks his spots, but he is amongst the league leaders. There's no doubt about it. And it can easily go back-to-back in stolen base titles. As long as he continues to stay healthy and his ability to get on base with a walk or a knock, going to give him chances to steal.
They chase him back. And as good as Yadi Molina has been as a team, they're only 9 for 43 throwing out runners this year. Only 21%. And HUD, that is the 2nd worst percentage in Major League Baseball.
That's because Yadi has the pitcher schooled. They hold the ball. They hold it. And then they'll make a move. They'll hold it for 2-3 seconds. And then the next time they get the ball, they'll hold it for 1 second and go. So they alter the timing, and the runners can't get a good jump. And of course, they're all a little bit nervous about Yadi and his future Hall of Fame status with his arm. He's thrown out 32% this year. That's excellent. And doing a heck of a job.
Alex fights it off.
There's only one Royal who's faced Flaherty in his career, and that's Brett Phillips. So this guy's, the more pitches you see, and the better off you are. So for Alex Gordon, he's seen a few pitches here. That's important. You can watch the pitcher on video all you want, and until you get in that batter's box, it's a whole different ball game. You're going to get little up close and personal timing.
Line drive to the first baseman Carpenter. That's a double play.
Not much you can do about that. Little hard luck there. If he gets it by him, that's first and third, and nobody out. Too bad.
So now Flaherty will face Salvador Perez, who leads the team in home runs with 19. Flaherty has allowed 14 in almost 100 innings. Ball one. StatCast AI, powered by AWS.
They feel like they got him covered at the 41% mark right there, shortstop, right in that hole.
Fell behind Merrifield, walked him. Got ahead of Gordon, got him on a line out. Now he's fallen behind Perez, who swings and misses at a breaking ball. Good call by Yadi Molina on a 3-1 count with a 22-year-old pitcher.
He knows that Salvi is a swinger, no doubt about it. He swings out of the zone more than any other player.
So 2 walks in the first inning by Flaherty. He's very fortunate to retire 1 on the double play.
Okay, now good job. They're thinking he might do it again. Salvi said, Salvi has a 52.7 chase rate when he's ahead in the count. That's the highest in the majors. So he does swing at balls out of the zone, but not that time. They'll take the walk.
Now Lucas Duda. He's always had success in the first inning. 357 average in the first inning with 3 of his 10 home runs. We all remember the one on opening day. Duda hit 30 last year, splitting time between the Mets and Rays organizations. In there, strike 3 called, inning over. Don Denkinger. Now that is a long memory. Well, fans, tonight American military personnel serving overseas are watching this game on AFN, the American Forces Network. Welcome to those in countries around the world aboard naval ships at sea, and thank you for your service. Beautiful evening in Kansas City. Temperatures in the high 80s. Cardinals won game 1 last night, 7-0 Gomber over Smith. Now Danny Duffy needs to keep these Cardinals quiet with the first batter. Ozuna singles to left field. Let's go to Joel.
Well, that ball right by Adalberto Mondesi, he had no chance at that. But what we are learning here this year and lately is that Mondesi can do almost anything. So what's the next step for him? Talking to some of the personnel, coaches, front offices, just to start to slow things down a little bit. He's such a unique talent. He could do things at such a high speed, almost too fast sometimes. Because he has such pure athleticism, he can do so much. You see it with the way he runs the bases. You see it with the power the other night. You see it with the defense. Talking to hitting coach Terry Bradshaw, and he said he's really starting to figure it out, slowing things down, processing video, starting to allow things to come to him a little bit more. These are all the next progressions, but they are really excited about where Mondesi is. This is about the easiest play that he will make all year long, but you saw him sit and wait on a curveball the other night. Sky's the limit for Adalberto Mondesi, but they love the progress that he is making right now.
That's a great point, Joel. And talking with a lot of our scouts down at spring training, they were saying at spring training games sometimes Mondesi does slow the game down, but then the lights come on, big league games are here, and he gets a little bit too much of in a hurry.
Yeah. You know, that's part of the evolution of a young player becoming a great player.
That ball knocked well to center field. Brett Phillips on his horse and is there to run it down. Back to first base, Marcell Ozuna.
Phillips, he stays low to the ground and accelerates quickly. He's able to take a good straight route, pull out the parachute, catch that ball, no problem.
Now Harrison Bader, who had a very good game last night. Belted a single his first time up to drive in a run and came around to score on Carpenter's home run, and then hit his own solo shot inning number 6. He now has 7 home runs this year, and all 7 have been on the road away from Busch Stadium.
Done a nice job against left-handed pitchers. 303. 3 of his 7 homers against lefties.
Good block by Salvi. He and Duffy have worked together since they were 18 years old in the minor leagues.
Knows each other inside out. There he is. Shuffle those feet. Look at that. He gloves it, and he does not like to catch the ball in his glove. He's so quick picking it off the ground. He's more comfortable. He just wants to push it, keep the ball in front of him.
Barely missing outside. 3-1 to Bader. Harrison came in with a .273 average. He was the Cardinals' minor league player of the year last year, while the starting pitcher tonight was their pitcher of the year, Jack Flaherty. Fouled off. 3-2. Just low. So runners first and second with 2 out for Colton Wong. This usually is an advantage for Danny Duffy. A lot of teams in the American League don't pencil in left-handers to face Duffy, but left-handers have hit him a little bit better this year. 271 average.
Yeah, you know, he's left a few up in the zone, and left-handers, that's where they're looking there. Most of the time you execute a pitch right there. When you're a left-handed pitcher, you're trying to break that ball away on him. Come inside with a heater to back him up. Set him up for the outside breaker.
Another breaking ball and an 0-2 count. That curveball has been money for Danny. He has incorporated it more the last couple of months.
Beauty. That's the one he wants, really. Wong, you've got to be looking up.
To third, Escobar will throw out Wong. That does it for Duffy. 2 shutout innings. We head to the bottom of the second inning of play. Marcel Herrera will lead things off. Stadium. If the Royals hit a triple in tonight's game, the Kansas City Honda dealers will make a $1,000 donation to the Kansas City Major League Baseball Urban Youth Academy. Marcel Herrera will lead things off. 260 average. And Herrera not waiting around, and Bader is there to run it down.
Face it, driving impaired affects lives.
Here at Kauffman Stadium, 1 out. Flaherty made 1 pitch, and Herrera hit it sharply, but Harrison Bader had him played perfectly and was able to make the catch for the first out. Now Brett Phillips, the one player who had faced Flaherty before tonight and had gone 2 for 2. Matter of fact, one of the hits was a home run. It was the very last game of last year, 2017.
Oh.
Phillips took him deep at Busch.
Why not do it again? Rosell Herrera, he didn't miss. That's the key to beating Flaherty. You can't miss the ball in the middle.
Well, he's really good on 2 strikes. Only opponent's batting only 126 off of Flaherty with 2 strikes, and Phillips swings and misses, and that is his 2nd strikeout.
Yep, you got to get him before he gets you.
Ryan O'Hearn, who was the designated hitter last night, getting the start at first base as Duda is the DH. And there is a strike. How you and I were able to listen in on that great conversation that Joel Goldberg had with Some of the stars from that '85 World Championship team. That was the Show Me Series.
Yeah, you know, it's always great to hear from the Royals champions, and you know, being here for 7 years, I've been able to golf with some of them, Willie and George a few times, but hearing the stories that these guys tell when they're all together, it's a totally different game. It's fun to listen to them recant their story. Love how they were giving praise to their other teammates, you know, Steve Balboni, you know, and how he was a big home run hitter, but he had soft hands and was a good first baseman. And, you know, crediting each other.
O'Hearn pops it up left side. Jerko says he has it. He does, and it's a quick and easy inning for Flaherty. When we come back, we'll be talking with this man, Charlie Leibrandt, one of the stars of that '85 championship team. Some of the stars that were honored before the ball game, and right in the middle, Charlie Leibrandt. Of course, there's Jamie Quirk, one of the Royals catchers, and Duke Wathen. They were able to throw out the first pitch. And Rex and I are now joined by Charlie Leibrandt, who was a great pitcher for that '85 season. You had 17 wins that year, but I just was in awe of the way you were in conversation today with Joe Goldberg, the four of you, George Brett, Willie Wilson, yourself, and Danny Jackson. And the recall was like that World Series happened yesterday.
Well, that was fun. I don't get a chance to see those guys often. And I think last time we were together was for the 30-year anniversary, which would have been 215. Or maybe even, maybe it was the 25. I don't even. So my memory's going on me. But it was fun. Good to be around those guys.
And you came to the organization in 1984. What was it like to join that union? The one thing that I remember you share with Joe was the unity on the team, the kindness, the teamwork you had.
We all got along great. I was the oldest member of the pitching staff at 28 and had a bunch of 20, 21, 22-year-old guys. So they welcomed me with open arms. It took me a while to get back to the big leagues. I started in Cincinnati and wasn't very good, and pitched in the minor leagues a couple years ago. Got traded over here in a minor league deal, and worked out for me. And got a chance to play for Dick Hauser, and he told me, "You're here to stay. Just go get yourself a place to stay in town, and you're my guy."
Charlie, how about breaking in a young Danny Jackson? At the time, I faced him in Double-A, and that's the first time I saw a real big league slider, and I could tell, whoa, man, that's a different kind of pitch. Did you help mentor him a little bit?
No, Jack and I had totally different styles. I kind of wanted to get you out, and as some guys told me years later, I was a comfortable 0 for 4, but with Jack, he didn't want to just get you out. He wanted to break your bat. He wanted to embarrass you, and he did a lot. But there are a lot of really competitive guys on that team, and especially on that pitching staff.
Blackie
Blackie's awesome.
Saves.
Yeah, Saberhagen, Gubiza, a lot of good arms, but just a lot of great competitor guys. And just they pushed me, and we all pushed each other.
And Charlie, one of the things you shared earlier today that I was not aware of was who taught you that changeup. You learned it in Cincinnati. Mario Soto, who had a great changeup. And did that really change your career?
No question. In Cincinnati, when I broke in,
Escobar with the play, a marvelous catch.
Yeah, great catch.
Third base side.
I was fastball, curveball, not very good in Cincinnati. I'd start a little bit. I pitched in the bullpen and had very mixed results, but I pitched with Mario and I saw how good he was. Of course, his velocity was way better than mine, but he had a great changeup, and he showed me the grip on it, and it took me a while to learn it, and probably several months, but I got it, and I was able to throw that pitch more consistently for a strike than my fastball. So it saved my career, really.
Charlie, being on a World Series championship team, will you guys be friends for a lifetime?
Oh, no question. I don't see those guys much, but I talk to Sabe some. I talk to George. Gooby, you know, we'll text from time to time. Blackie, I'll see Blackie next week. He's managing in Colorado, and they come to Atlanta where I make my home. And so a lot of those guys I see and talk to. So it's yeah, we went through a lot together, and it was great.
Charlie, in that '85 Fall Classic, the key game was Game 6. And everyone remembers Don Deckninger and George Orta, but you started the game and you pitched brilliantly, and were trailing 1-0 going into that 8th inning, I believe. Can you talk about recalling that Game 6?
Well, I remember I had a lot of tough luck in that postseason. I had a 2-0 lead in the 9th inning in Game 2 against the Cardinals, and I couldn't hold on. I ended up giving up a couple of hits and a bases loaded clearing double to a friend of mine now, Terry Pendleton. So we end up we're ahead 2-0, lost 4-2. So that was heartbreaking. So that was another heartbreaker. I thought it pitched pretty well. We didn't score, but fortunately, we came back in that game. We got a big break with the Don Deckninger call. Cardinals made some mistakes to help that inning along, and then we got a couple of nice base hits to win that game. And of course, everybody knows in Game 7, Saves pitched great, and we went wild.
But they don't have that opportunity unless you keep them in the game, and you pitch so well in Game 6. And we're going to take a look at the last out. Your thoughts here?
Saves for 21. He didn't pitch like a 21-year-old kid. He was mature beyond his years. If he didn't get hurt a few times, he'd probably be in the Hall of Fame. He was that good.
Coming back, seeing a full house with royal blue and red, got to bring back memories, doesn't it?
Oh, this is awesome. We would have made I got traded to Atlanta in 1990, and we would have made our home here. We loved Kansas City that much. The fans were awesome. They were great to me. We had about 90 consecutive days with ice and snow at the end of the 1990 season, in the winter. And I told my wife, I don't know if we can handle this, and so we moved to warmer climate in Atlanta, and have not regretted it, but it's always good coming back to Kansas City.
Charlie, that motion you had where you would bring your knee all the way up, and you were very deceptive. I faced you 10 times when you were with the Braves. I was with the must have been the Cardinals or the Expos. But where did you learn that?
You know, back in the day, I'm not sure there's not near as much coaching as there is today. So I learned that on my own, and that's the way I learned. And
deception. I saw a lot of arms and legs, and you know, you weren't overpowering, but like you said, you were comfortable 0 for 4. Well, I hated that. I hated facing guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
That's you know, that was just the way I pitched. I didn't know any better, and nobody said, "Hey, you can't get guys out this way."
Ball struck well to left field, and it will be over the head of Alex Gordon, and Molina will have a 2-base hit.
Charlie, what about pitching in this ballpark? You had to love that, right? As big as it was.
Yeah, this is one of the best to pitch in. I didn't worry about 7-hole hitter, second baseman, little guys hitting me, taking me deep the opposite way.
You'd say here.
If I fell behind, I'd throw a 2-0 fastball middle away, and you know, if you're going to get your share of hits, but you're not going to take me deep, and you know, it's different in today's game. the ballparks are a lot smaller. I think the ball is a lot harder, and the guys are bigger and stronger. So yeah, this is no question. But so it's different today. It's hard. I think it's harder to pitch today. The strike zone is smaller. So I don't know if I could come back. Probably wouldn't be able to pitch in today's game, but I enjoyed pitching in the era that I pitched in.
I wanted to ask you about, after winning Game 6, you pitched so well, you're in the clubhouse. Is there a belief if we can win that, there's no way the Cardinals can beat us in Game 7? Because I think that was the feeling of the fans.
You know, the way it went down, we felt pretty good about Game 7. Of course, we never thought about Game 7 in the middle of Game 6. My goal was to try to get us as deep as I could and try to give us the lead. It never happened, but you know, once we won in the fashion that we won, and we were pretty confident in Game 7 that we were going to beat them. We had Sabes on the mound with, you know, regular rest versus John Tudor, who was coming off 2 games in a row where he had to throw on short rest. So we felt good about that, and playing at home was big for us too.
And then the Cardinals obviously brought their emotion to Game 7, and they had all kinds of problems once the Royals took that lead.
Well, it was frustrating for them. I'm sure they felt they should have won it in Game 6, no question. The Denkinger call went against them, but you know, they hit a pass ball, they hit a drop pop up by our dugout. You know, there were some things they could have done different that they might have won the game anyway despite that call, but it is what it is. You know, we won it. Dane Orge had a great 2-out hit. It was exciting. Our fans loved it, and we coming back to play Game 7 at home, we felt really good about that.
Charlie, you understand you have some kids that are playing baseball. Can you share what you're doing with yourself now in Atlanta?
I want to go back one time to my son. You talked about my motion. I would never teach my son my delivery. You know, I never was.
But it worked.
It
worked for
really
me.
Did work.
I was, you know, watching myself now on television or on tape. I go, well, that's, you know, that delivery is very odd, and he's got a much smoother delivery than I do, and I'm appreciative for that. You know, it worked for me.
Sure.
So, you know, it was something I had to live with. That's the only way I knew how to pitch. So back to your question.
No, that's okay. Well, this is going to be our third out here.
Maybe.
There's no play.
Oh, too bad.
He had no play anyway. I like to call that a pocket ball.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one to give up. You make a good pitch. And
exactly. How many times do you do that? Now, Danny Duffy, in his young days, you could see his emotions. He was so passionate.
Yeah.
You know, how long did it take you, Charlie, to learn how to let those things go?
I never had the stuff that Danny Duffy has. He's a hard thrower, good power stuff. I'm trying to think when you know, I went back down to the minor leagues a couple of times, and so you've got to let your ego go, and the only way to pitch is to not get too upset, or else you're going to carry that with you for an out or 2 or 3 or an inning or whatever, and you know, that might be 3 or 4 or 5 runs later. So I tried not to let my emotions get the best of me when, you know, whether I didn't make a good pitch or the guys behind me didn't make a play or whatever. That's going to happen.
Does your son listen to you, being a big league dad? Does he listen to you, or is he like, okay, Dad, yeah?
Well, for the most part, yes. We talk a lot. You know, today's with the internet today, I can watch all his games on the internet, and so I can critique what he's doing, and he listens for the most part. There's a few things I'd like him to do to change his delivery a little bit that he's pretty fixed on, but for the most part, I tell him what I think will work at the next level and what won't, and he's you know, he's all ears there.
Right now it is Marcell Ozuna after Jose Martinez reached on the infield hit to give St. Louis a 1-0 lead. 25 pitches this inning for Danny Duffy. Charlie, after you won the championship, the joy in the clubhouse and also the parade, could you talk about those two?
I don't know if there's a better feeling to especially what we went through. We were down 3-1 to Toronto, down 3-1 to these Cardinals, and to come back like we did, wow, we were super excited. The fans couldn't have been better. The parade was awesome. Everything about it is a fond memory. And
Ozuna with a drive to left center field. Martinez will be sent home. The throw is to third, and he is safe.
You could tell on contact that no one was going to catch that ball. Osuna, he ripped it. Got him a pitch he could handle that was up. Ned Yost is going to see if they want to take a look at that play at third base. Excellent relay throw. But this is what we were talking about earlier with Danny Duffy. In order for him to win, you got to stay away from the big inning, and this one is breaking out with 2 outs here. As you can see, he got his left hand in there. Excellent slide. Took the one-hand takeaway there and was able to get it in there with no problem.
And Hud, that's a good point, because 4 of the 5 runs that scored in that second inning yesterday came after 2 out.
Just trying to finish up that one inning sometimes can be really tough for a guy.
Now Duffy to face Paul DeYoung.
Just hoping to make that pitch and not necessarily strike the guy out, just get the out. Put it in play and use the defense.
DeYoung takes inside. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Charlie Lee Brandt, who was one of the heroes of that '85 Fall Classic championship for the Royals. He won 140 games in his career. Came to the Royals in '84 and through '89.
Charlie, any hobbies or anything you do now? Do you work?
Yes, for the last about 20 years I've been coaching high school ball in the Atlanta area.
Oh,
so I've enjoyed that. When I started, I didn't have any kids in the program, and then I had a couple that came through, and it was fun coaching them, and then they went on to college and graduated from college, and I stayed on for another several years. So it's fun. I enjoy being around the younger kids and trying to teach them a little bit about the game, and it kept me busy. So I enjoyed that a lot.
And I wanted to support Hud in his opinion of your delivery, because a lot of pitchers now have this smooth, easy delivery, but it's too comfortable for the hitters. And like Hud was saying, it was very difficult. Here goes Gordon back and has to play this one off the wall, and all of a sudden it is a 3-0 lead as DeYoung doubles, and that's 4 straight hits by the St. Louis Cardinals. And Charlie, your thoughts on that, because your delivery, I think, was uncomfortable for the offense.
Well, I changed my delivery a little bit coming over to Cincinnati. Wanted me to Bill Fisher wanted me to break my hands over my knee, and I could never get comfortable. My balance was never as good as it needed to be, so I just wasn't that comfortable. And then I started breaking my hands behind my right knee, and I got much better balance, and it might have looked funny, but it was something I was able to repeat. And that was a big thing for me, repeating my mechanics and be able to throw with great control. I had very good control as I learned that changeup, and I came over here. My control got better, and of course, when you don't have great stuff, you have to have great control. I learned that, and didn't walk a lot of guys. Gave up my share of hits, but I just had to make guys come out of the strike zone, try to pitch on the corners, and then that worked for me.
As a coach for the last 20 years and as a major leaguer with 140 victories, are there things that you'd like to see pitchers do a little differently in the big leagues now?
Well, it's different. There's so many hard throwers, and it's hard to argue against what they're doing. I'm not a big fan of starting pitchers going 5 innings. I think they need to push those guys. They don't push those guys in the minor leagues anymore. That's all they get to 100 and they take them out. I'd like to see them push them a little bit more to try to create some adversity, see if they can't get out of some tough spots. They just don't do that much. It's tougher for those kids. The strike zone's smaller to me from when I watch. The ballparks are smaller. I'd like to see guys pitch inside more, especially a guy like myself. I had to pitch inside more with mediocre stuff. If you got power stuff, you don't necessarily have to come in there. But if you don't have power stuff, you got to knock guys off the plate from time to time. And I don't see the guys doing that as much.
Base hit left field by Jerko. DeYoung will come around and score. That is 5 straight hits by St. Louis off of Danny Duffy. And Charlie, I know you have responsibilities, but thanks very much for joining us, and thanks for being part of our '85 World Championship team.
My pleasure. I'm sorry I brought bad luck to the Royals.
No,
we were doing fine until I got here, but thank you guys for having me.
You're a world champion, Charlie. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Maybe if I leave, we'll get out of the inning.
No,
thank you.
Right.
You brought good luck ever since you got here in '84. Charlie Lebrand, part of our '85 World Championship team. And of course, Kansas City was completing one of the most successful decades by any expansion team. 6 division titles and 2 pennants from 1976 through that '85 World Championship. Well, Hutton, now that we can talk about Danny Duffy, because he was just rolling along, then all of a sudden double, single, triple, double, single.
Yeah, and this could be trouble too.
Escobar. Oh, that's a great play by Esky.
That's what he needed.
Out Duffy.
He needed to keep a pitch down where he could use that defense, and that's what he did. He was able to get out of the inning. But man, another big inning. Hopefully this doesn't undo him here, but he's got some offensive chances here to come back and get Flaherty. Nice play.
Kansas City, Missouri's longest tenured mayor from 1979 to 1991. He was a lover of baseball. Mayor Berkeley showed up in the newspaper in 1941 at his first professional game with a glove in hand when he wanted to be a major leaguer someday. He is credited with overseeing the expansion to Bartle Hall and the revitalization of the Quality Hill neighborhood in Kansas City. The Richard L. Berkeley Riverfront Park is named in his honor, and the Royals, of course, won that first World Championship during his tenure when he attended all 7 games of the '85 World Series in St. Louis and Kansas City. We are celebrating that '85 team tonight.
Great to see you, Richard. Your lovely wife.
There is a strike to Alcides Escobar. Jack Flaherty brings it. Escobar knocks a base hit to right. Royals have their first hit of the evening.
Parents and grandparents, it's not too late to purchase the perfect gift for your young Royals fan. Purchase the 2018 Sluggers Blue Crew box for just $30. Membership includes a jersey, flat bill cap, drawstring bag, 2 compression sleeves, 2 home game ticket vouchers, and much more. Sign up now at Royals.com/Blue Crew.
Now Mondesi. Let's see if the Royals can creep back in this game after St. Louis scored 4 in the top of the 3rd. Strike 1.
Like the slider that Escobar went with. He just went with it, lobbed it out to right field. Better make something happen. Get a few guys on and get a gapper and get in this game. Pick up Danny.
Mondesi had a triple his first time up last night. Shows bunt. That brought Jerko in quickly. But the Royals, after he led off with a triple, could not get him around, and that's something that Ned Yost was talking about before the game. He said you have to learn how to put the ball in play. You have to learn how to trust your approach with a runner at third and less than 2 out. One and two.
Yeah, that's coming with time. In every single game this young man plays here, and most of them they all get better. I mean, even though you're a veteran player, you're still improving. You're hoping to. That's your goal.
These are two of the youngest teams in baseball. The Royals and Cardinals each with 10 rookies. The Rays have the most rookies in baseball with 13, but there will be some growing pains. The Cardinals do have the advantage of being able to sprinkle in some veterans who are stars, guys like Matt Carpenter and Yadi Molina, with some of their rookies.
You know, just watching Yadi behind the plate, 36 years old, bounce on that ball and picking it up before Escobar could advance to second base. You know, when Matheny would want to sit him out for a game or so, he would fight that and say, hey, look, I train for 150 games a year to catch, and I'm in good shape. That's what I want to do. And so he's just, you know, will fight to stay in games, a lot like Salvador Perez does with Ned. Since Matheny left, Mike Schilt, he's learning what it's like to manage a future Hall of Famer that's very passionate about playing.
You know, it's an incredible family to have that kind of success. Jose Molina, his brother, Benji Molina, his brother, Yadi Molina, all have won world championships. It's never been done before. And Mondesi tried to check his swing but could not. That's 3 strikeouts now for Flaherty.
As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game.
With Merrifield up, he walked his first time up, but then was erased on a line out to the first baseman into a double play. Cardinals came in 6.5 game back of the Chicago Cubs today, but the Cubs lost to Washington earlier this afternoon. So the Cardinals have shaved a half game off that Cubs lead. Just low and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's 2-seamer in there hard.
And Milwaukee is at Atlanta. That's Wade Miley against Julio Teheran. Brewers have lost 2 straight. That Cubs Washington game today, John Lester is usually pretty good, was rocked for several home runs. Ryan Zimmerman hit 2 home runs in that game. Ground ball short, could be 2, 1 and 2.
That's the big inning right there that happened. The Cardinals made it happen. Though there's some pretty good pitches there by Danny Duffy. Just couldn't find a defender to catch that ball. But they were able to go on with 5 big hits, 4 runs.
Yeah, they have been on fire. They've won 11 of their last 16 games. And it seems like some tension was released. There's Duffy going after the Wong, and they'll throw him out. So Colton Wong is out number 1 of the 4th inning. Refreshing saves from Price Chopper and Aquafina. Sign up at mypricechopper.com/saves to save on Aquafina when the Royals get a save. And when you're going through a hot streak, and the Cardinals certainly are, all of a sudden it is very, very difficult when you get those little chop knocks. But things are looking good.
Tester.
Escobar. That's a heck of a play.
I'll say he's on it. He makes that play from shortstop all the time, but then third base, it's the same play almost, except you got a little different angle. He's able to attack it. Nicely done. 2 in a row now he's done. You're going to play at this level, you got to make that play coming in. Look at him. He goes down, 3-finger pickup. Keep your head down on the catch with your fingers, and rely on the first baseman. Nice play.
Now Matt Carpenter. Carpenter 0 for 2 with a pair of pop-ups. But Danny Duffy was able to get the first 2 outs of the 3rd inning, then 5 straight hits and 4 runs. Cardinals with 4 runs on 6 hits. The Royals with no runs on 1 hit.
There you go. Drop her down there in the low part of the zone. Merrifield playing a shallow right field. He wants to pull it. Don't leave it up though. He's hot with a homer.
And Hud, it was 1 bad inning in his last start. Remember that 2nd inning against the Minnesota Twins, he loaded the bases, and unfortunately he walked the number 8 batter. That loaded the bases for Jake Cave, a left-hander who hit a grand slam. In there, strike 3 called. Duffy is able to come back well in the 4th inning, but still trails in this one 4-0. the Summer of Jeep, the official vehicles of summer. Packed house at Kauffman Stadium tonight for Game 2 of the series. St. Louis won last night 7-0, and they lead this evening 4-0. 4 runs after 2 out on 5 straight hits off the Royals ace Danny Duffy. So Alex Gordon will lead things off. He'll be followed by Salvador Perez and then Lucas Duda.
Got to find a way to get the Flaherty. It's firm, got a quick arm stroke. He's got a nice secondary pitch, that slider.
Yeah, he does have swing and miss stuff. 2 different fastballs, slider, curve, changeup. Slider has been devastating as opponents only bat 154 off that pitch. Full foul.
You know, he does a nice job of mixing it so far, watching him and his 43 pitches thrown. But you know, he does have a 3.27 ERA, which in the modern game is a good ERA, anything under 4. But the reason that his record is 5-6 is because he doesn't get any runs. He received 2 runs of support or less in 9 of his last 10 starts. 2 runs or less. Of course, now his offense is on a roll. And it really picked up, and I believe that it's just the fresh, new managing style of Mike Schilt, and the fact that he brought up some other Mozeliak brought up some other coaches from the system, and you know that energizes the ball club.
Foul off. Alex taking a shot at left field.
I was on a team in 1994 where they fired Buck Rogers and they brought in from the system, this is for the California Angels, Marcel Latchman. He's a longtime Angel and he was down in their system. Marcel Latchman brought a coach up named Joe Madden, and that brought a fresh energy to the team whenever you promote from within. So I think that's been a good move for the Cardinals this year. I know what that feels like.
Yeah, it seems to, from the people we've talked to in the Cardinal organization, relieve some of the tension that was going on in that clubhouse.
That's right.
A little bit low, 3-2.
Alex battling there. He's got a good count going.
Flaherty right now at 47 pitches has been helped by 2 double plays, 1 in the first, 1 in the third.
Alex is so freed up. He looks totally different than he did in the beginning of the season this year.
What do you see?
I see a looseness. I see a looseness in his hands. Now he's been laying the bat down a little bit flatter, but I'm seeing some movement in his fingers, which I haven't seen in a long time, and another excellent plate appearance.
3rd time the Royals have had their leadoff man on.
Our 2nd annual health care service night is back at the K on Tuesday, August 14th. Purchase your themed ticket to receive an exclusive Cherokee brand Royals scrub top and watch the Royals take on the Blue Jays at 7:15. Get your themed ticket today. Royals.com/themed tickets. You too could have a scrub top. Hello, buddy.
Boy, anything inside Salvi can really turn on. I'd like to keep that fair.
He's awfully quick.
One ball, 1 strike. St. Louis the last 2 nights. Gomber last night. Flaherty tonight, working Perez inside. Two balls and 1 strike. Flaherty last time out through 6 scoreless innings at Pittsburgh en route to his 5th win. Did not allow a run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Two and 2.
Hey, this is when he gets tough. You know, another interesting number that's been good for Jack Flaherty this year is that with that 2-seam fastball, he's really running it in on guys. Has a 10.4% line drive rate on inside fastballs. That's the lowest in Major League Baseball. So they're not squaring that pitch up. Salvi took that slider away his last time up and got a walk out of it. Enjoying some ice cream tonight.
Beginning to cool off a little bit. First pitch temperature was 89 degrees. And he chases a fastball running away from him and strikes out. That's 4 now for Flaherty.
Yep. Talked about his 126 opponent average with 2 strikes. He's tough. Mo Lottery shows you that's a 4-seamer. He's going to use 4 and 2-seam to get the job done with 2 strikes. A lot of sliders. He's a strikeout pitcher. Starting to hit his spots. And when he has a lead like this is when a lot of guys go. But at 22 years old, gosh, he's just a kid. He's got nice looking talent. He's got some good stuff.
Strike in there.
Well, it's like Charlie said, though, you know, you just don't see a lot of guys, you know, like him. I think the last one we saw here was Jason Vargas. Vargas was a guy that didn't have a lot of stuff.
But he came inside with that 4-seam fastball so well.
Yeah, because you have to, because you don't have power. You can't blow it by guys. But he's similar to the way Charlie was.
Charlie talking about that 85 team, how many good young arms they had. Brett Saberhagen at 21, Mark Gubicza at 22, Danny Jackson, a young pitcher. Charlie was the old man, he said, at the age of 28. And that's what the Royals are trying to put together again. They have some top talent in the minor leagues, led by their 1st-round pick this year, Brady Singer out of Florida. Great baseball school. And the 2nd overall pick, Jackson Coher, I believe, was pitching tonight for Lexington. Check on how he's doing. Royals had a lot of success in the minor leagues with their pitchers last night. Arnaldo Hernandez for Omaha, 7 shutout innings. Scott Blewett, complete game for Northwest Arkansas. Duda pops it up shallow center. And there is DeYoung for the 2nd out. They get rained out. So Jackson Coher unable to go today, so likely go tomorrow. Kannapolis or Lexington against Kannapolis. Ball gets away. Gordon races to 2nd. And the Royals have a man in scoring position for the first time tonight.
That's exactly what you're looking for. A mistake. And you got to make him pay. See if Rosie can put the ball in play like he did last time. Hit a hard shot to center field. Just rushed a little bit. Carpenter boxed that. That looked like a pretty decent catchable ball there. This went off the end of his glove. Make it hurt. Rosie, one of the nicer numbers out there with the runner in scoring position out from the Royals. 324.
He squared up the first pitch he saw from Flaherty, but lined out to center field.
Sure did. Hit a bolt. First at bat tonight, the Royals have a runner in scoring position.
Gordon led off with a walk. Perez struck out. Duda popped up. Excellent play by Wong. When we come back, we'll visit with the guy who made that last catch, Darryl Motley. We're now joined by Darryl Motley. I've always wanted to ask you this question. I'm sure you've been asked it countless times. What did it feel like when that ball settled into your glove for the final out, Game 7 of the '85 Fall Classic?
Oh, God, it was definitely a dream come true. It wasn't something that I had ever really envisioned happening to me in my baseball career, and just to get that opportunity to live that whole experience has really been huge. Not only just in my life in general, people still ask me about it a lot, and you know, I always have to tell that story over and over again, but you know, I'm just glad that it happened to me.
When the ball was in the air, what were you thinking? What's going through your mind? Like, you know, it's the last out. All you have to do is make the catch.
Well, we had kind of talked about it a little bit, Willie Wilson and I and some of the guys on the team, about who would end up catching the last out. And, you know, I remember telling Willie, I said, this is one time I'm going to beat you to a baseball. You know what I mean? And then we went out there, and I look up and here the ball comes. It's coming my way. I could hear Willie. He was somewhere around. He wanted to catch it. I know that he was somewhere around.
Ground ball to short. Mondesi, and 1 out.
Mont, what about that home run you hit in Game 7 in the World Series? What was that experience like?
Oh, man, when I hit the first one over that foul pole, I'm like, well, I won't get that pitch to hit again. And, you know, I got the opportunity to get actually, it was a better pitch for me to hit than the one I hit over the foul pole. That one was a little up.
You hit one, and you thought it was fair, but it was called foul.
It was called foul. It was foul. But, you know, I was kind of prancing around. People really don't know what happened when I broke the bat during that at-bat. I broke the bat because I picked the barrel of the bat up when I was coming back to home plate, and I banged the handle of the bat on the turf, and I heard the bat crack.
Oh.
I heard the bat crack, and I started to use it anyway because it felt good in my hands.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
But I remember Hal McRae telling me one time, he said, you never use the crack bat. And I said, time out. Time out. And I switched the bat. I called for another bat, and the next pitch was right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same
the
pitch.
next pitch.
I often think that what if I'd have hit that same pitch with that cracked bat and it exploded right there?
It didn't go out.
Now nothing happens.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Hal McRae, wise guy.
Wise
Smart,
guy.
Very
Hal
smart.
McRae, veteran.
I love him. I miss Mac.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Darryl, what one word would you use to describe that 85 team?
Oh, wow. Tenacious, man. Really a professional team. George Brett, Hal McRae, Wilson, Frank White, and those guys. We had a good mixture of veteran players and younger players, and I think those guys kept us straight and kept us on the straight path to that championship. So we owe a lot to them.
Mont, look at you. You were a very strong young man. I remember playing against you in A-ball when we were playing back in our young days. You had 17 home runs. That was your career high that year in '85. What was the transformation like for you? Did the home runs just start happening for you, or just something you had to work at?
Well, I think I've always had the ability to hit the baseball out of the park. I had a pretty good success at it in the minor leagues also. So even when I was younger, when I was in high school and stuff like that, I could always hit the ball out of the park. So
you use the word tenacious to describe that team, but you had to be when you're down 3-1 to Toronto in the ALCS, 3-1 to the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series, and you still did not give up. There is a line out. Darryl, thank you so much for joining us.
That's the reason I use that word tenacious.
Yeah.
That's the one that comes to mind when I think about that team. We could have quit then, but we didn't quit. And the rest is history.
Way to go, Mont.
KC had a championship.
All right.
Darryl, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Jack Flaherty back on the hill for his 5th inning of work. He's allowed the Royals only 1 hit. He has walked 3. Royals almost scored their first run, if not for a terrific defensive play by Colton Wong, second baseman. He threw out Rosell Herrera. Now Brett Phillips. Went first pitch curveball, then to a fastball. 1-1 count.
Look for that heater. Don't miss it. That's away. Tough pitch. He's smooth, very smooth, compact delivery.
Time now for tonight's sprint trivia question. Name the 3 players that have played for both the Royals and Cardinals in the World Series.
Okay. Seems like I've heard this question before. I gotta believe. Get in there for him.
Ryan O'Hearn gets a base hit.
Is he going for it? Not down by 4. Throw was off. Could have made it, but then what? Play it safe. Just second hit. Up Flaherty. He crushed it. 102. Exit velo. Flaherty was trying to use a little body language to help Carpenter with that line drive that nearly undressed him. That was a hard hit ball. Fizz, I gotta believe Darryl Porter is one of those.
Yeah.
One of those Cardinals and Royals in the World Series player. Is it Darryl Porter, one of them? Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, because Porter was with the Royals in 80, and then the Cardinals in 85. You know, I know Dane Orge played for both teams, but
yep. Yeah, he's a good guess. Why don't you guess him?
No, let's hold off. Let's just have conversation.
No conversation, because they've cut our timeline down now. We only get 1 inning or 2 innings now to guess. But we could converse some. Org played for both. I don't know if it's during the World Series though.
Mark Littell played for both ball clubs. Escobar with a drive. That's deep to left. And gone.
Hallelujah. The Royals scored. Way to go. Escobar, of all people. That's right. He did make magic. A little 2-run magic. Excellent job by Esky out of nowhere. Comes up with his 4th home run of the season. And it was a wall scraper, but a no-doubter. I mean, like, it looked like it off the bat. That was definitely going to be gone, but you wondered if it would clear that 387, and it just did. Back in the game. 3rd hit off of Flaherty. This was 2 for 2. Yeah.
Royals right back in it. Kansas City searching for a big hit. In the first 2 games of this series, they were 0 for with runners in scoring position, and that was after beating the Chicago Cubs, the National League Central leader, on Wednesday. 9 hits, 9 runs.
You're going to get to 22-year-old Jack Flaherty. You can't miss, and he didn't. Now see, he got under that just enough. 33-degree launch angle. Didn't hit it over 100 exit velocity, but he got the right arc to it. 91. Check it out. Now he just picks it up, sets the foot down. Watch everything else. Ooh, nicely done there. Good head position. Great hip turn. 2-hand follow through.
Now back to the top of the order, and Whit Merrifield, who is looking for his first base hit of this series. 0 for 5. He does have a couple of walks. Bounced into a 6-4-3 double play to end the 3rd inning last time up. Told you earlier, this is where Flaherty's really tough with 2 strikes. Opponents only batting .126.
Likes to come in hard in with a 2-seamer or going away with a slider.
And he went away with the slider. Strike 3 called. 6 for the game, but Escobar gets the Royals right back in it with his 4th home run of the year. It's now 4-2, and fans, you can celebrate 50 seasons of Royals baseball at the Royals Charities 5K Retro Run Walk on Saturday, August 18th. Run on the field at the K, plus get a Retro Run t-shirt and a free ticket to a game. Sign up on Royals.com/run, presented by Fox Sports Kansas City and Price Chopper. Strike 1. Duffy outside of that third inning has pitched extremely well. 3 1-2-3 innings, the first, the fourth, and the fifth. He's only allowed 2 base runners outside that third. And the pain came with 2 out. He got the first 2 outs, Garcia and Carpenter, but then Molina with the double, Martinez with the key hit. That was that chop knock where Duffy made a great pitch, but an infield hit scored the run for a 1-0 lead, then triple, double, single, and it was 4-0. But Escobar's home run cut it in half. Husky playing third base tonight. Mondesi at short. Ball stroked pretty well to right field. Herrera tracking and makes a nice over the shoulder catch.
You know, Viz, that's a routine ball. Even though that ball was well struck, that is a ball that he makes look routine. He makes the hard plays look easy because he's such a natural. I have never seen him take one wrong route so far in his games here that he started in the outfield. Duffy says, hey, look, that ball carried all the way to the base of the wall in right field. And really, you know, he tells me all the time about his dad. His dad teaches him how to hustle. His dad teaches me this. He taught him how to turn his back to the ball and keep your face to the wall when he adjusted on that play the other day in center field that we highlighted so much. He said his dad taught him that. And so I said, who's your father? He said, Francisco Herrera. And where does he live? He lives in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Is he watching the game tonight? He said, probably. And I'm going to say, Mr. Herrera, great job, an outstanding job at raising this young man to not only be respectful for others, to be happy, but to be a heck of a baseball player. Congratulations.
Jerko with his second hit of the night. His mom Francisco and mom Victoria and dad Francisco live in the Dominican Republic. But his dad played in the Yankee system.
It's fantastic. But you know what, though? The advice he's getting, Herrera, he's taking it and he's putting it in his game right now. Is Rosell. And so you got to give him credit too. How about these Spaniards coming all the way? Only 4,612 miles, Fizz.
Not bad.
Yeah, we're going to give them
dedication.
They are star players, star fans for us tonight. Thank you, fans. Way to go.
Pulled foul.
Good outfielders make hard plays look easy. This guy, he does the same thing. He's going to be a real good ball player here in a few more years. He already is. It's at the big league level, but wait till he gets a few years in here.
And I'm guessing that's why they traded Tommy Pham, because they believe that Bader's the future.
Absolutely. There's always somebody looking to take your job. Believe it. And if you don't believe it, you're in trouble. So it's a high-stress job. Guys are on the bubble.
Danny going up with the fastball, an 0-2 count. Kevin McCarthy starting to warm in the Kansas City pen. The most pitches that Danny has thrown this year, 114. That came in that 7-inning gem against the White Sox when he beat the Sox 5-0. 7 shutout innings.
Duff's got a little roll him up, put him in the lane ability. He has induced 6 ground ball double plays. Bader, pretty speedy guy, gonna have to hit it hard at somebody. Strong. He has strength. He's not just a glider, a guy that can fly. He's got some pop. We saw that home run he hit last night here. Went over the bullpen.
On his hands. Stays 1 ball, 2 strikes. Check swing. Did he go? He did not.
Ooh, man. I think Bader got away with one.
Again, Duffy teasing him outside, and now it's a full count.
Okay, Bader's got a good AB going here. He looks really confident. Try to execute another one of those down in the zone.
The 8th pitch of the at-bat about ready to be delivered. Royals trying to get 6 out of Duffy tonight. Caught too much of the plate. Next pitch will be number 100. Jerko goes. The ball is belted to left.
Just had a feel he was locked in. Tell all those pitches he was fouling off little by little. And he's going to go deep for his 8th on the season. That's our Jeep drive of the game. It looked like a spinner, and it was just too elevated. It was elevated letter high or bird high. Birds on the bat. Souvenir to his bullpen.
And that is our Jeep drive of the game. Cardinals have their 4-run lead back.
Ned's not happy with first base umpire.
Yeah, he is barking it, and so is Danny Duffy. And they're saying what? And Adam Hammery has just thrown out Danny.
Well, obviously he would have liked to have had that check swing called, and that would have been the second out. After Duffy gave up the home run, he kind of glanced over there at the first base umpire and then went back to the mound. And then when Ned was walking out to check on him, he looked over at him and
Ned just protecting his players, but I'm sure when they saw the replay underneath that it was a swing and should have been strike 3, and the Royals closer to getting out of the inning as Duffy was trying to keep the team in the game. Let's take a look at the swing that he was upset about.
Well, you know, it looked like he offered at it. It was a pitch away. He was trying to protect, but that's a swing to me. But hey, look, sometimes they get called, sometimes they don't, and then that's a hanger right there. That's the hanging breaking ball, the top of the zone, and he was locked in, and then Duffy had to voice his displeasure.
So During that span, they've been averaging over 5 runs per game. They still believe they're in the hunt in that National League Central race. Certainly the wild card race. The Cubs right now in front of St. Louis by 6 games after the Cubs lost today to Washington. Milwaukee playing tonight at Atlanta.
Well, you know, Duffy a little bit upset. To be understanded. And then thankfully Ned didn't get tossed. He stayed in.
So Danny Duffy's evening is over. He gave up 6 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Wong takes strike 1.
McCarthy got good sinker. Been reliable.
Two out.
Fans, help us celebrate the historic 2015 World Series championship with a Gold Threads replica jersey giveaway this Sunday, presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. First 15,000 fans through the gates will receive the giveaway before rooting on the boys in blue when they host the Cardinals at 1:15. Tickets available at Royals.com, and that is tomorrow.
A young lady celebrating her birthday today. She probably saw both championships in '85 and '15.
That's right. Glad you could join us. Happy birthday.
Adolis Garcia, he is grounded out twice. Robbed of a hit and a fine play by Escobar in the 4th.
We saw Adolis get his first big league hit last night, a little doinker out in center field. He'll take it. And he had a start last Wednesday in Miami. This is his second start in tonight's game.
First base hit in his big league career off Jason Adams.
Yep.
Out of play. Now a 3-2 count. It was great having Darryl Motley and Charlie Leibrandt stop by the booth tonight as we celebrate that 1985 World Championship, part of that Show Me series, or the I-70 Showdown series that they called it back in '85.
Yep.
Swung on and missed. So McCarthy comes out of the bullpen to do a good job getting a ground out and strikeout. Bottom 6 we go. in his reserve fan section. Tickets are just $35 and include your seat in left field, a Gordo big head, and a premium Gordo Nation shirt. Don't miss a chance to cheer on Gordo every Thursday home game. Get your tickets now at royals.com/theme tickets. And we've got a Gordo Nation game this Thursday when Toronto's in town. Gordo goes after the first pitch, and the Young will throw him out. One down. The sixth inning, of course, is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Edward Larson from Warsaw, Missouri. The Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning. Edward will win $900, and if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park in this inning, Edward will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. Here's Sal. He leads the team in home runs with 19. Do we have an answer for our question, our sprint trivia question of what Royals and Cardinals have each played in World Series?
Yeah, we got him.
I think Darryl Porter.
Yep, get in there.
There's a line out by Perez. Hey, everything's going right for St. Louis.
No doubt.
Line outs are fine in gloves. Got to fight through it.
Yeah, I think we have it.
You think Dane Orge?
Yeah. Say it officially, Fizz.
And Lonnie Smith?
And Lonnie Smith.
All right.
There they are. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, Lonnie was part of that '82 Cardinal championship team that beat the Brewers in that beer series.
I believe.
And then, of course, with our Royals in '85. Well, Flaherty has been very impressive. Made one mistake to Escobar, who homered. We cut it to 4-2, but Harrison Bader with his own home run, his 8th. Hey, this Flaherty kid reminds me a little of Michael Walker. Both about the same size, 6'5". From over the top. Michael stands a little taller on his finish.
Yep, and he has a much more accomplished changeup.
Well, there's a good breaking ball there for strikeout 7 now for Flaherty. With a 6-2 lead. Brian Flynn comes out of the bullpen for Kansas City. He is our Chevy call in the bullpen, pitching for the 34th time this year.
Yep. Flynn's sinker baller, no doubt about it. Ned likes to bring him in. Sometimes if there's runners on, he bring in that ground ball. He's been rolling them up this season. Opponent's average has been on the downswing. So is that ERA. He's going to get under 3 here before long. Or excuse me, under 4.
Matt Carpenter has been held in check. He had one hit yesterday. It was a home run. But outside of that, he is just 1 for 8. 2 pop-ups and a strikeout looking. First pitch by Flynn. And it is ball 1. Carpenter, one of the leading candidates for National League MVP this year, along with Javier Baez of the Cubs, Freddie Freeman of Atlanta, Nolan Arenado of Colorado. And I guess if they were going to throw a pitcher into that mix, you have to go with Max Scherzer, who's having an outstanding year for the Washington Nationals. But I almost think the Nationals would have to win the East if Max is going to get MVP. Strike, 2-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the MVP award should go to an everyday player. That's just personally.
It is most valuable.
Yep.
And that's why I'm saying, let's say Scherzer just goes off down the stretch and wins his last 10 starts.
Then give him the Cy Young then.
Well, there have been pitchers who have been MVP and Cy Young winners in the past, same year. 3-1 pitch, and it is in there for a strike. And that 85 World Championship, Brett Saberhagen pitched 2 absolutely brilliant games to help the Royals with the victory, and of course complete game shutout of St. Louis in Game 7. And that was one night after Brett became a father. Man, oh man. Carpenter walks. Speaking of MVP candidates, our University of Kansas Health System injury report is on Mike Trout, who was placed on the 10-day disabled list yesterday because of that right wrist inflammation. 309, 30, and 82, very deserving. But you have guys who will be playing healthy like Mookie Betts. What a season he is having.
Yeah, it's too bad that Trout got hurt.
Betts started the day hitting .352, 27 home runs, 98 runs scored.
Man.
And they still have like 45 games left.
That's right.
Boston won their first game today over Baltimore 5-0. David Price with 6 shutout innings. That gave the Red Sox 83 wins with 45 to go. Fouled off. Matt Carpenter has now reached safely in a career high 29 straight.
He's on a roll. Pick up a ball player and a good young man.
Other American League candidates for MVP: Jose Ramirez of the Indians, J.D. Martinez of Boston. And how about Chris Davis, the last month and a half that he has had for Oakland?
Yeah.
Mondesi. There's one, and they cannot get the double play, but Mondesi with a wonderful play to get the lead runner.
Looked to me like that ball was going to sneak into left field to Alex Gordon. It was the last step he took, and a nice dive, was able to secure it. Whitley just pulled the throw to first. They might have gotten Yachty.
Boy, he is quick.
Yeah, nice job by O'Hearn to vacate the bag, save it.
Mondesi can be part of that foundation. The Royals continue to build for the future. Martinez 1 for 3.
Yeah.
He went. And the crowd with a Bronx cheer.
And Ned with a few words.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I thought Bader went a little farther.
Yeah, he did. Well, Flynn is the perfect guy for the situation here. We told you he's a ground ball machine. He rolled up his 15th double play, which is most in the majors for a reliever in his last outing.
Well, that's a valuable guy. When you come out of the bullpen with guys on
No
base.
doubt. It's a huge stat. Amazing. But, you know, at 6'7", he's got that downward angle, and he's able to get the guys to hit the top of the ball. That was his last outing was Tuesday against the Cubs.
Big rip now, a 2-2 count. Martinez has hit it at 12 double plays. That's high on the team.
Perfect candidate.
Ooh. Where'd that miss?
Little in.
Maybe that's what Charlie Leibrandt was talking about. The strike zone wasn't so tight when he played. And there is ball 4.
MLBTV.TV is now available at a lower price for $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season games. Plus, get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer.
Marcell Ozuna has hit the ball hard 3 straight times. A single back in the 2nd inning, then a triple to drive in a run, and later scored the 3rd run of the 3rd, and then lined out last time.
There it is.
Ground ball Escobar. They've got 1, and they will get the double play to end the top of the 7th.
Roll it up, 16th. Most in the majors by a reliever. Their top prospects. This
is our Pizza Ranch for the win. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts.
He's a strikeout pitcher, you know, but he's in the running for Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about that. This young man here, he's put together some action. He's got, you know, all them strikeouts. Coming in with a 34.5 strikeout rate versus right-handed batters. I mean, he's dealing.
Now Rosell Herrera twice has hit the ball sharply, but lined out to center field and then robbed of a hit on a play by Colton Wong to end the 4th.
You know, this young man, he came in tonight to face Kansas City Royals with a 208 opponent batting average. That's one of the best opponent averages in the National League. It's a minimum of 95 innings. So he's no fluke, this young man.
Hudson, another one of their top prospects, is warming down in the St. Louis bullpen. And he is a starter who is right now in the bullpen, but they feel his future will be in that rotation. Herrera battling, lead off the 7th inning. Rosell with 38 hits in his 38 games with the Royals. Started the year as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. Matter of fact, the last calendar year he's gone Colorado, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. Fouled off. Came up as a Rockies infielder, but they had 2 guys in front of him named Arenado and Tulowitzki, so didn't get much of an opportunity there. And now he's become a more versatile player, fine defensive outfielder, and there's a breaking ball missing high and outside.
He's a can't miss big leaguer for sure now, Fizz. He's not going back. He's done with his minor league career. 3,000 at bats down there. There's nothing to prove. He's shown up here so far in his short little stint. He's athletic enough, and he handles the bat from both sides of the plate, infield, outfield. He's got some value.
It takes all of us to keep drivers and passengers safe on Missouri's roads.
Respect the load, share the road.
6-2, St. Louis has the lead over the Royals as Brett Phillips comes to the plate. Twice Flaherty has struck him out. Strike 1. Strike 2. And that will be caught by Paul DeYoung.
The Royals are partnering with their favorite NBA team for Oklahoma City. Thunder Day on Sunday, August 26th. Purchase a themed ticket to receive an exclusive Thunder and KC branded cap, so you can rep both teams in style. Visit Royals.com/theme tickets to purchase now. Cool hat. You can rep them both, Fizz.
We have another giveaway tomorrow, the final game of this series, a 1:15 start, 12:30 with the pregame with Joel and Monty. Jacob Junis will throw for Kansas City, Luke Weaver for the Cardinals. Ryan O'Hearn knocks it foul. And we expect another big crowd. It's supposed to be a beautiful afternoon, so come to the ballpark.
Why not? Join the sold-out house tonight. Charlie Liebrandt said brought back a lot of memories, seeing the red and the blue.
He did not go. Two balls and two strikes. Flaherty is a strikeout pitcher, averaging 10.56 strikeouts per 9 innings, and that's the best in St. Louis history for a pitcher with a minimum of 120 innings and 20 starts.
Yep, he's leading all rookies in strikeouts too in the National League, plus the Cardinals.
8 tonight. I mean, when you consider the greatest pitcher in St. Louis Cardinal history, Bob Gibson, averaged 7.2 per 9 innings. That shows you a little bit how times have changed, how strikeouts are not taken as dramatically with the same kind of importance as they were years ago.
Yeah, no. Hitters in Bob Gibson's days, they had pride in shortening up their swing, and you're not going to strike me out. So they didn't.
9 for the kid.
Here, Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and another tough night for Danny Duffy.
Yeah, other than the Escobar home run, it's been a lot Cardinals, and unfortunately Danny Duffy unable to go out there and dominate like he really wanted to be able to do tonight. Been a tough Cardinals lineup. All
right, we'll talk about that, and I'll see this Escobar's night and more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Our minor league spotlight takes a look at Charlie Neuweiler. His numbers for Lexington this year, drafted in the 5th round last season, 19 years old. Assistant GM Scott Sharp telling me a projectable right-hander out of the Northeast. Those guys don't get as much playing time in high school, so you have to project them a little bit. They like what they see. Guys?
Thank you very much, Joel. And that's back-to-back good years by Charlie Neuweiler, who had a 1.76 ERA for Surprise last year. And that is good to see. Got to have that pitching. Paul DeYoung will lead things off here in the 8th inning, facing Ryan Flynn. And there's Yadier Molina visiting with Jack Flaherty. And believe me, they listen to every word. He is like an assistant pitching coach.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, I was talking with one of the Cardinals, and they were telling me the story about spring training, that Jordan Hicks, who is so young, he's the kid who throws 100 miles an hour, that Yachty went into Mike Matheny's office and said, you have to put this kid on the opening day roster. He's too valuable. He's too important. And they wanted to send him out, but they trusted Yachty, and the kid made the opening day roster.
Yeah.
That's some strength.
Yeah, Yachty might be a Cardinal manager someday if he wants to. Another grounder.
So 2 quick outs for Brian Flynn here in the 8th inning. Again, we're celebrating that Show Me series from the 1985 World Series, and the fans were given a replica trophy of that great season. We were studying up some of the great pitching performances in that series, and going back through the playoffs, Danny Jackson was flat outstanding. Everybody always talks about Brett Saberhagen, and he was, because he was the MVP. But Danny Jackson may have pitched 2 of the biggest games in the postseason, because the Royals were trailing the Blue Jays 3 victories to 1, and trailing the Cardinals 3 victories to 1. And it was Danny Jackson who would pitch Game 5 and pitch brilliantly. There's a base hit to left, and Bader is just having a series thus far. That's 4 hits. 2 of them have been home runs. But I was checking out that ALCS Game 5 at Jackson. They had to have a win. He threw a complete game shutout.
He's like Charlie said, he was one of those guys that didn't just want to get you out. He wanted to break your bat. He wanted to make you look bad. That's a competitor. That's the way it was. Some guys were like that.
Well, I'm going to have to tell Denny Matthews the time of the game. Denny's always interested. Time of the game of that Danny Jackson shutout in the ALCS, 2 hours and 25 minutes.
I bet he remembers it.
Oh, man. One of the great sliders of all time. Wong 0 for 3.
Look at Flynn. Flynn's a good athlete. He's got a step off move there. Almost got him. A little slide step he'll use for, you know, 6'7". He's athletic.
Bader is 12 of 14.
Let him try Salvi. Let's see what happens. See what kind of lead Bader can get. 12 feet's really a pretty good lead if you can get out there at 12. If not, you still can steal a base from there.
Where is our Pepsi fan of the game? She was there.
They're looking for her.
They're searching.
Yep.
We will find the Pepsi fan of the game. Lot of opportunities in this one. I wonder if it will be the birthday girl.
Oh, I hope it is.
There she is.
Hey.
She was with Ponce de Leon when she found the Fountain of Youth.
Pepsi fan of the game. Happy birthday. Glad you spent it with us.
Snap toss, but O'Hearn had to come off the bag as Bader got back safely. The Royals will have Escobar, Mondesi, and Merrifield coming up in the bottom of this inning. Salvi. He's good.
true moment. Escobar stepped up. He said, no, we hadn't scored a run, and this going on last night, not tonight, but hey, put it into that 4th home run. 2-run shot over the board. A nice one. Good little lift got him back in the game. That was at 4-2 at the moment. Then another 2-run homer against Danny Duffy. Gave him another 4-run lead.
The new pitcher is Dakota Hudson, and he is a great story. A 6'5", 215-pound right-hander out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and they think he is going to be a big part of their future rotation. Right now, coming out of the bullpen.
Yep, 7th game, nobody's touched him hardly. Throws hard. Oof, look at that action. He's got some good life to his fastball. He's going to cut and sink it. 91 to 97. Slider, curve change. He's got all 4. And like you said, they project him to be in their starting rotation.
First-round pick 2 years ago out of Mississippi State. Last year, our Northwest Arkansas team found out about him. He was the Texas League Pitcher of the Year. 3-0. He went 13-3 with a 2.5 earned run average and 87 strikeouts in team leading 19 starts for AAA Memphis. Strike. 3-1. Good baseball name, Hud. Dakota Hudson.
Yes, sir. I believe it. Looks good. Any young man that's 6'5", 215, maybe could end up being 220, 230. He got a chance to be real big and durable. He'll take the walk, Esky.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club.
Nice little Escobar package we just saw right there where you were reading that copyright fizz. Esky's had made 2 nice slow rollers in from third base, then popped one over the yard, out of the yard, over the fence.
Been on base all 3 times. And now Mondesi hits one off of Hudson, and he'll have no play. That's an infield hit.
Oof. That hurt. No chance you were going to throw Mondesi out on that one. See where he got him. Looks like he got him on the shoe. Inside of the boot or inside of the ankle, we'll see. Ooh, might have been a shin burger. Ball bounced all the way back to the dugout like when Heath Fillmyer got hit the other day by Rizzo's 107 off the bat.
It only made Fillmyer better, though.
Yeah, it
that
woke
was
him
amazing.
Up. He's a tough Philly guy.
He sure is.
Now, that wasn't hit quite as hard, but it's still coming back at you at 94. That's enough to get you out of the game.
You're exactly right, and he was brilliant after that.
I mean, almost identical. Yeah, identical where the ball bounced to.
He went 7 shutout innings after getting stung on the ankle. Talking to Brad Keller, and those are 2 of our young top guys in our rotation right now.
I don't even want to see this again. I don't know how he stayed in there.
That was at 107 miles an hour.
Yeah, knocked him off his feet. And see where the ball bounced, exact same spot where it bounced here off of Hudson.
Ned Yost was talking about that pair before the ball game. He really likes what Fillmyer and Keller has shown us. 2 guys we were able to get from other organizations. Fillmyer from the A's, Keller from the Arizona Diamondbacks.
These guys are talking about that right now. Nobody out. Let's see.
Strike one. This would be a great time for Witt to break out of that little slide. He has 1 for his last 19. And Hudson hasn't allowed a big league run yet. Foul. He's a battler.
Playing him straight up, that's a pretty good compliment to a hitter who goes line to line. Speaking of lines, keep it moving.
Shot to third, 5-4 and a 3.
And you rarely see Whitley hit into a double play, and that's twice tonight he's hit into ground ball double plays. Yeah, just a little bit out in front of it. Waits a little longer. That's going to be in the hole. Instead, it's 2 outs for Dakota Hudson.
Gordon 0 for 2 with a walk. First pitch in there, strike one.
Oof, that's some heavy sink right there. Looks like he's got potential ground ball machine written all over him, plus strikeouts as well. Cause got that kind of stuff. That ball moving down like that and cutting it. And get a lot of guys to swing and miss or hit the top.
Escobar walked. Mondesi shot one off of the pitcher Hudson's leg. Royals had first and second, but then the double play. Escobar trying to get home from third. Give the Royals their 3rd run. That's back-to-back good blocks by Yadier Molina.
We called his older brother Benji Molina's games for almost his entire career with the Angels. For the 11 years we were out there, it was really neat to see him. And then his middle brother Jose was Benji's backup. You mentioned it earlier. Amazing story with these 3 brother catchers that all are world champions. Jose Molina's got 2.
Well,
Benji's
we remember
got
talking
1.
with Jose and Benji, and they said, I think when Benji won his first Gold Glove, he said, I'm nowhere near as good as my younger brother.
Yeah, and he wasn't even in majors yet at the time. He kept talking about Yachty being the best, no doubt, of all of them. And he was right.
Well, he's gone from 0-2 to 3-2. We're trying to keep that line moving. Salvador Perez is in the on-deck circle. The 8th pitch coming in this at bat. There's ball 4, and the run ball gets away. Escobar will score, and it's now a 6-3 game.
All right. That got underneath Molina. Didn't think that was possible. Let's see, it's a slider, and that might go down as a pass ball.
It is.
Yep. That's right there. That's catchable. He's going to tell Dakota Hudson, hey, look, I could have just flipped my thumb out and just scooped that ball up instead of trying to backhand it there. Now Salvi can tie this up. Excuse me, get him closer.
The game, and now we will see a young man with the best fastball in the game as far as velocity goes. It averages 100 miles an hour. Averages.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement to it, and there's nobody squaring him up. Just one home run he's given up.
Strike one at 100 miles an hour. He leads Major League Baseball with 394 pitches thrown of 100 miles an hour or faster. It's almost 45% of his pitches. Aroldis Chapman is second with 171.
Okay, slider, curve change he's got if he needs them.
Another 101 mile an hour sinker. His highest velo this year has been 105 miles an hour, and he has done that a couple of times.
The only home run hit off him was off of Jason Hayward's bat. Thanks, Dave Holtzman, looking that up for me. Easy swings, all you got to do put on this guy here, and he'll supply the power.
Ball gets away. Yachty picks it up, tosses to first base, and Hicks gets the strikeout. And we head to the ninth inning with the Cardinals leading 6-3. by Ford. Going further so you can. And by Pizza Ranch. Hungry for legendary pizza and chicken? It's Pizza Ranch for the win. Again, we celebrated the 85 team. Great to see all of them here today, and so many incredible memories of that season. Royals beat the Cardinals 4 victories to 3 in the 85 Fall Classic. Tomorrow we'll be celebrating the 2015 World Championship team.
You know what I just figured out? They had Brett Phillips and Whit Merrifield out there to take a picture of him. And Phillips wears number 14 and Whitney wears number 15. So 14 and 15 were our World Series, the last World Series.
Very good.
Just pick that up.
How about that?
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That was good they figured that out. Put those guys out there with 85.
Adolis Garcia is 0 for 3, a couple of ground outs and a strikeout last time up. Flynn came on in the 7th inning. He's worked 2 shutout innings. Duffy gave up 6 and 5 1/3. McCarthy got 2 outs, finish off that 6th inning, and then Flynn has been there ever since. Fouled off. All but 1 out that Brian has recorded. It's been a ground out. Struck out DeYoung. Everybody else grounded out, including a double play that ended the 7th.
You know, this young man, Adolis Garcia, checking up on him. He's got power. He's got speed. He can play center field. He's got a nice future ahead of him.
Escobar throws him out. Well, tomorrow we'll be celebrating the 2015 World Championship, and we remember that so well. Chris Young will be on the pregame show. Luke Hochaver will be here as well. He got the victory in the clinching game.
Never forget that.
800,000.
Oh, man, Fizz. Call the cops. We're going to have Luke Hochaver and Medlin come up here with us. And
I know
Chris
exactly
Young.
the story I want to talk to him about because it involves his pop.
Chris Young going to be on pregame show.
And to this day, Dayton Moore feels like Chris Young was the pitcher of the year that year because he did so much. I mean, that was a ridiculous bullpen. At 14 and 15, I mean, when you just the names: Wade Davis, Greg Holland, Jason Frazier, Ryan Madsen, Chris Young, Kelvin Herrera, Brandon Finnegan, Danny Duffy was part of that bullpen for a little bit. Joe Blant. 30 wins by the bullpen, 56 saves, most inning pitched by a bullpen that year, almost 540 innings. If you had the game tied or a lead after 5 innings, game over.
That's 12:30 tomorrow right there, Fizz. Price Chopper Royals Live. Joel and Monty.
Nice play by Mondesi. He continues to sparkle in the field.
Yep, you hit it to his left and right, and it's not hitting all that hard. Although that ball was squared up, you're out.
He's getting more and more comfortable, and the more comfortable he gets, his confidence will grow. Dynamic talent. As Ned Yost has said, I don't think he knows how good he can be. Molina's been on base twice, once with the double, once on a fielder's choice. O'Hearn will not have room. Cardinals got 4 of their 6 runs off of Duffy in the 3rd inning after Danny got the first 2 outs. Double, single, triple, double, single, and it was 4-0. But Norris is up for St. Louis in their bullpen. The veteran has become their closer. Base hit left field. That ball is struck well. Six of the Cardinals' 8 runs have come with 2 out.
Ooh, man, that's a slider that stayed in. Jose Martinez. Wow, Alex, he just said, I'm going to save that. That ball was really hit hard. Did not miss it.
Ozuna fouls it off. Escobar. Last chance for the Royals as St. Louis scores 2 to open up a 5-run lead. the Cardinals leading by 3. Then the home run by Martinez, and Buck Norris sat down. So St. Louis trying to stay hot. They have won 11 of their last 16 and are now 14-9 since they let Mike Matheny go. And Mike Schilt taking over as the skipper. Lucas Duda will start things, then Rosell Herrera, then Brett Phillips. Got a C1 first, and it came in at 102.
Yep. You don't get a chance to see that pitch very long, partner. You got like maybe 0.2 of a second, maybe 3.
Got it still located well.
Yep, it's on you.
One of the greatest St. Louis Cardinals, Stan Musial, used to say, I could hit anybody's fastball. And then he said, I could hit a 747. I would let the first 2 747s go by at 500 miles an hour, but I'd square up that third one. Stan the man. And a slider at 88. Duda with a base hit to right field.
Okay, that's turning around a 102 right there. Duda, we saw him hit a home run off of Garrett Cole in Houston in '98. He hit it out of the park. There's a 2-seamer. He could turn on anything. Got in on him just a tad. He didn't quite barrel it, but didn't break his bat. Nice swing. You know, that's bragging rights there. You know, you say you got a single on a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. At his age, 8th year in the majors, it's pretty good. Tells you he's still quick. His hands are good.
Herrera 0 for 3 is lined out, robbed of a hit. Diving play by Colton Wong. Now he chops one up the middle. Hicks drops it. Now he'll lose the double play, but he gets Herrera at first base.
Hey, went to the transfer. Yeah, transfer from glove to hand. That'll get a lot of guys. Okay, he's going to take that glove and oops. Drop something.
Now Brett Phillips, a chance to drive in a run. First pitch fastball low, ball 1. Pretty good rip on a 101-mile-an-hour fastball.
Two-seamer with some late life, they call that. Could be early life or late life, I guess, Fizz, huh? That ball was moving. Ooh. Watch out.
And then an 88-mile-an-hour slider that almost bites your knee. Hicks hails from Houston. He's 21 years of age. He's the Cardinals' third-round pick out of Cypress Creek High School in Houston. That's a fine baseball program. To the right side. 2 out. Jacob Junis will throw for Kansas City tomorrow. Luke Weaver will go for St. Louis. These teams with very young pitching staffs now. Royals with yet another start of a pitcher 29 or younger. It's been like a month of that. Now Ryan O'Hearn, who has 1 base hit, and he scored the Royals' first run on the home run by Escobar. Strike 1. St. Louis won last night 7-0. They lead this evening 8-3, trying to take the first 2 games of this I-70 series. There's a ground ball up the middle. Wong backhands. Game over. Flaherty with his 6th win of the year. Duffy takes the loss and Hicks gets the save. We'll be right back.